Hi Kitty, my name is CJ and I'll be conducting your initial interview. So I'll be gauging your communication skills if you're fit for the job, okay?
Okay,
So are
sir.
you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. So let's start about, can you tell me something about yourself?
Alright, so hi, Sir CJ. I'm actually Christine, but you can call me Kitty. Aside from the things that actually can be seen on my resume, I think what I can share about myself is the skills that I have and the advantage that I have among others for me to be able to pass this process. I think I'm flexible enough, although I can say that I'm a newbie into this industry. I think I can handle well the pressure if ever there will come. And I think I'm a hard worker person also.
All right, good. Since you've mentioned a while ago that you're a hard worker person, can you elaborate more about it? How passionate you are towards your job?
Alright, so there are times before also in my previous job, if I can share it, that pressure was actually put onto my shoulders, but instead of thinking that the specific pressure as somehow in a negative thing or in a negative side of the job, I actually took it as somehow my motivation so I can still continue what I'm doing and to actually strive harder to exceed the target or the expectations that my employer has on me.
Perfect. And you already had a call center experience. And why do you want to work for a company?
Alright, so I actually has about 3 years already working in the industry, sir. And to be honest, I was happy back then on my previous job, but it's just that discovering Concentrics or your company made me think like I can actually do better. I can actually strive better and be on a higher position than on what I am actually back then on my previous company. More of a personal and career growth as well.
Great. You've mentioned a while ago that it is more of like a personal career growth and development. So basically, we're referring to strengths, right? So can you tell me what are your strengths?
Most of the strengths that I can actually share to you, sir, is I think my flexibility and resiliency in terms of changing accounts, in terms of being in a new environment. Because it's actually a big deal when you're trying to transfer companies or trying to get into another company that you haven't been there before. So being able to like do the adjustments into the environment or to what type of job that you will be able to handle is actually a great strength for me because in that way I can actually perform better knowing that I'm doing fine, like moving into the environment that I have.
All right, good. I was able to run through with the resume, and you actually have a lot of strengths. So, and you've mentioned also your strengths a while ago. Can you also tell me what are your weaknesses and how are you going to improve it?
There's actually one weakness that I think I has, and it's more of being a perfectionist. Although I can also consider it as somehow my strength. Sometimes I want everything to be as perfect as it can be. So I tend to make everything as good as it can be. And how I can improve it, I think by actually serving it as somehow looking at it as something as a strength and considering it as weakness, I can actually consider it as an opportunity instead.
All right, perfect.
Way, I can also prove on myself that I have achieved more than what I expected.
All right, great. I think I don't have any more questions for you, Kitty. We'll just get in touch with you. So all you need to do is just keep your line open, and one of our recruiters will get in touch as to the next step of your application process. Okay?
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome. God bless.
So, number one for me, number one thing for me is if you can actually observe while doing the interviews, you have to keep on smiling. You have to keep yourself calm because once you actually feel nervous, even though you have prepared a lot of things on your mind, mawawala lahat yun once you actually get nervous. Emotions, ma-overpower niya kung ano yung kaya mo actually isagot during interviews. And of course, another thing is, aside from just focusing on what is written on your resume, I think the information there, we should actually be focused more on realistic situations, on how you can actually try to answer such interviews in the BPO industry.
Hi, Christine. My name is CJ, and I'll be conducting your initial interview. I'm one of the talent acquisition partners. So, are you ready?
Yes, sir, I'm ready.
All right, good. I'll be gauging your communication skills if you're fit for the job. All right. Let's start first with, can you tell me something about yourself, which is actually not written on your resume?
Alright, so aside from the things written on my resume, I can actually tell about myself that I'm a hardworking person, I'm flexible enough, and I can actually adjust to pressures, and also I'm always motivated.
All right, good. Based on your resume, it shows here that you've been in the industry for about 2 years from now, and you've been asked multiple type of questions, but let me just ask this to you: why should we hire you?
Alright, so instead actually on focusing for my main reason about my personal growth, it's more of what I can actually contribute to the company. I think based on my previous experiences, I can share the knowledge that I have onto upgrading or enhancing the type of system in terms of the teams that I will be having, and of course performing the best that I can in the company.
All right. And speaking of contribution, you've mentioned a while ago. So basically, if you want to contribute something to the company, we're referring to your strengths, right?
Yes.
Can you elaborate more about your strengths?
I can actually name two of my best strengths. One is the flexibility, and the other is me being motivated all the time. And it's actually the two utmost strengths that I always keep in mind to keep striving hard.
Good. And what are your weaknesses?
In terms of the weakness, I think I can actually say that I'm a little bit or too much sometimes of a perfectionist, and sometimes I wanted to make everything the best, and I will not be settling for less. I think sometimes it can actually serve as a weakness, but most of the time I actually consider it as also somehow that I can turn into opportunities.
All right. And we actually have a lot of BPO centers here in the Philippines. Why do you want to work with Concentrics?
Yeah, we actually do have a lot, and I've been with a lot of companies as well. But once I actually discovered Concentrics, I am fascinated with how they manage their people so well, their welfare. I mean, most especially during the pandemic, they never let the employees down, and that's the best thing that I actually discovered about them.
All right. And you're now applying for a customer service position.
Yes.
And what made you decide to leave your previous job? What happened? Can you say something about it?
Actually, my previous companies were all good. Everyone there was also treating me so well. It's just that, on my own perspective, knowing how big is Concentrics right now, how well they are towards the employees, it made me think that I want to be in this company instead.
All right. With your 2 year stint in the BPO industry, so that's partly an accomplishment, right? And what do you think is your greatest accomplishment aside from landing into a BPO job?
I think staying on the industry for that long is already the greatest achievement that I had. Aside from this, recognitions, awards, it's actually staying in the industry that you love and being with the people, the environment that actually you can have the understanding with. It's really hard to find that in other industry or staying in this industry. A lot of people tend to give up just months after getting in, but as for me, I have been here for around 2 years, and it's a very great achievement for me.
Was there a time that you were able to experience a hard time when you were on call?
Yes, of course. Like handling irate customers, it's really hard when, especially, they are not letting you into their minds, or your comments, your suggestions on how you wanted to help them. They don't want it to accept it because they have their own ways. I think that's partly one of the hardest, but I actually have adjusted to it, and I just told myself that if I cannot handle this easy, or what I called one of the struggles, then how can I handle more of the struggles in the near future once I actually get on a higher position.
All right, perfect. You've mentioned a while ago that in terms of career growth and development, that you want to be part of Concentrics, right? Now, how do you see yourself in 5 years or 10 years from now?
Of course, I would love to see myself 5 to 10 years from now being in a higher position, team lead, supervisor, or higher than that, because I think it can actually says that I have been on the top. If that happens, it can actually serve as the recognition that I've been doing my best. If ever that I have that position, I would really love that.
All right, great, Christine. And do you have any questions for me?
As for now, sir, none.
All right, perfect. Let's just wait for another update of your application, and one of our recruiters will actually get in touch with you just in case there is a progress in terms of your application. Okay.
All right.
Thanks,
you, sir.
Christine.
Thank you also, sir.